the Chamley Channel podcast, and next week we're going to unveil a new name because I don't like the current name, and it's my podcast. I can do what I want. I'm Clint Chamley. I got guest here, Bree Chamley. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about sports, obviously. If you don't know that, then I don't know what to tell you. You obviously haven't listened to the podcast. Anyway, first things first. Let's talk about the Tua Tagovailoa, or however you say his name, injury. He broke his ribs for the Dolphins. Starting quarterback. Any thoughts?
That's going to be rough to come back with.
So anyway, it's obvious she knows nothing.
How did he even break his ribs?
He got tackled.
But, how does that happen?
I don't know. It just does. Anyway, that's kind of bad for the Dolphins. That's kind of going to ruin a lot of chances of them going deep. Tua was struggling, but Tua is still better than their backup, so that's not going to be great for him. I don't know what else to say.
There goes a fantasy football team. Just kidding.
She started fantasy football this year, and yeah, she thinks she knows everything now.
I'm going to lose my game.
Is there any NFL teams that you think are the real deal?
Well, I'm a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I thought they were the real deal, but they kind of suck right now.
I can confirm we are not the real deal. We are trash. Currently, we're down 14-3 in the third quarter to the Chargers as I am recording this. In my personal opinion, I think the Cardinals are the real deal. Kyler Murray's having MVP type season. Chandler Jones, Defensive Player of the Year type season. If they can get a better offensive line, they're really going to shine. Bengals are actually surprising me a lot. They don't have an offensive line at all, but they've been showing out. I'm not sure if they're for real yet, but there's a lot of NFL teams that are surprising this year.
Personally, I think the Ravens are doing A-okay.
The Ravens lost to the Raiders, which is another thing. I think the Raiders are for real. They really are.
Really?
They're doing pretty dang good this year, and I think Derek Carr is going to have a good season.
Clearly, I'm not watching the right game.
She's watched about 2 games this year, and both of them were Chiefs. So, moving on. Are the Chiefs in trouble? They're 1-1. They're down 14-3 to the Chargers as I'm recording. Are they in trouble?
Yes. I'm mad. We suck. We can't keep the ball in our hands. I don't know what's wrong with us. We have no D. I don't know. I really want to support us, but when you play like crap, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, our defense does suck. It's always sucked, but it's even worse this year. Our receivers forgot how to play football. They can't catch. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, there's only so much he can do. Our running game is looking up in this Chargers game until we get inside the red zone, and then we just fumble the ball.
Do we even draft defensive players?
Actually, yes, that is all we draft.
But clearly something's not going on. This is not right.
We also draft linemen, but that hasn't worked out either.
Yeah, so maybe we should quit the draft.
That's not how that works.
Quit the draft.
And this is why I would not have...
Draft.
No.
No.
This is why Bree is not on the podcast.
No, but it is... Something needs to change, because we suck.
Thanks for making that aware.
I can say that because they're my team.
Alright, let's go to the NBA real quick, just so we can go back to the NFL in about 2 minutes, because I am very unorganized with this topic list. Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins are the 2 most notable names right now who are unvaccinated, and due to where they play, if they remain unvaccinated, they will not be able to play in their home stadium. They won't be in home games because they can't play while they're unvaccinated.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yes. Kyrie has yet to come out and say anything about it. Andrew Wiggins tried to appeal for religious reasons, which they said would be exempted if it's religious, and they basically denied him and said it's BS. That's not a religious thing. You just don't want to get it, and so he has to either get it if he wants to play in home games or not play in home games.
I mean, I don't think they should. I think that's crossing a line. You can't play on this team at your home game if you don't get vaccinated. I think that's kind of crazy. Personally, I got it. I'm fine. It wasn't a huge deal to me, but I feel like people shouldn't be forced to get it if they don't want. And I think that's ridiculous if they can't play home games on their home team.
I do agree with that. I don't think that you should be forced to get it for home games. And first of all, both of them are going to miss like half the season if they don't get it because of half their games are roughly home games. So that's not going to work out very well. I'm assuming Kyrie will try to say it's for religious reasons. I think he's more likely to get it exempted from it than Andrew Wiggins was.
Is any other, is the NFL and all them, are they requiring it?
No, just the NBA, but it's more of the NBA because it's not the NBA, it's the states that they're playing in.
Oh.
Andrew Wiggins plays in California, Kyrie plays in New York.
Watch them go to a different team then.
That's probably not going to happen. But that is kind of how it's more been. It's more because of the states, not because of the NBA. But they're not getting exempted from it.
That sucks.
Yeah. This is a sports podcast. That is kind of political, but it is sports related. We'll move on to the Arizona Cardinals football team, who I said was the real deal. They're on a win streak right now. They're 2-0. They're currently playing the Jaguars. They are down as of last time I checked, but I expect them to come back. So, what are your thoughts on their win streak?
That's pretty cool. I wish the Chiefs could do that.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't know how to win.
No, but that is impressive. Who did they play the other game?
They played the Titans, which they blew out, and Chandler Jones had 5 sacks. And I don't remember the other team they played. I can look that up real quick because I have my Chromebook here.
They blew away the Titans. I thought the Titans were decent.
They're very much a good team, which is why it was impressive that they did that.
That's great. I was just thinking, they blew away the Titans?
They beat Minnesota 34-33, which is a very close game, and Minnesota's not great, but they're not bad. So they had kind of an off game.
We all have rough games.
And Kyler Murray.
They pulled the win.
They did pull the win. And Kyler Murray threw for 400 yards.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters is that you pull the win.
Yes, and 400 yards is a huge milestone. That's impressive. Kyler Murray, MVP season, in my opinion.
Is he young?
He is very young. He's I think he's younger than Mahomes.
Do you foresee him being the next Mahomes?
He's 24. I know he's going to be his own type of player because he plays very different from everybody. He's got a different play style. He's going to be
big.
He's going to be big. He's already been big. He just had some. He hasn't had too much help, but he's been playing pretty dang well.
Well, it helps when you have a team you can play with because you can't win a game by yourself.
That is true. His defense has been stepping up.
I don't know. I'm really proud of them. Way to go. I'm glad they can do that.
We're going to go on to Ben Simmons' possible trade destinations. For you, I'm sure you do not know, Ben Simmons, NBA player, all-star. He's a good player, but he's been struggling forever. A lot of people in Philadelphia don't like him, and Philadelphia basically said, hey, we're unsure about your future, but we would like you to, still participate with us in case we decide to keep you. And he basically said, no, I'm not going to come back, and you guys will trade me because I'm not going to play for you guys.
At least he knows what he wants.
I do think that he will end up getting traded because Ben Simmons has made it very clear he will not be playing with them. I think, personally, the Timberwolves or... I had another team in thought and I lost it. I think the Timberwolves would be a good fit because they're trying to build a really solid young core. I mean, Ben Simmons is young still, but he needs to develop a jump shot. That's what he's lacking, and he's lacking confidence.
I can't say much about this because I don't really watch the...
He is in Philadelphia, too, and you know how ruthless Philadelphia fans are whenever he has a bad game.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Let's go to fantasy football real quick. How's your fantasy football team going, Bree?
Well, I was starting off strong, and I won my first 2 games, but some players got hurt. For granted, they were on my bench, but I had to drop them, which is not good. And then a couple, who was it? What's his name that got hurt?
Christian McCaffrey.
Chris McCaffrey, freaking the all-star fantasy football player. I got him drafted. Well, he got hurt like always, and I don't know why I decided it would be a good idea. So there goes all my points, and I'm currently losing my third game, and it makes me so mad because I need to win. I can't lose at all. Like, if I lose this whole league, I have a punishment.
Do you know what your punishment is yet?
I think you have to go in the speaker's circle and support a cause that winner picks, and it's probably going to be something stupid.
That sounds amazing.
But there's people who are 0-2 on here, so I'm solid because I'm probably going to be 2-1.
I think you'll be good as long as you find another running back. You won't be last in the entire league.
Well, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is that his name?
Yes.
He's given me a 14.9 point.
That is not bad.
That's not terrible. Because I got 6 from McCaffrey, and then he's gone. And people are requesting to trade some of my decent players like Kyle Pitts, but they're not.
You do have Kyle Pitts benched.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, you should.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So it wouldn't be.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
I do. Because I put.
I would not trade him.
I put Gronk.
Yes, which is smart.
Gronk's
Gronk's
doing well.
He is doing well. I would trade Kyle Pitts because a lot of people want him.
But
I
weren't
wouldn't.
Give me any.
I would not trade him for Sony Michel like you said earlier. Sony Michel is not the end. Actually, never mind. He's not on the Patriots anymore, is he? If he was, I would say get him, but I don't think he is anymore.
I don't know. They were gonna trade me 2 people, Michelle and somebody else.
No, he's on the Rams. That is a horrible idea. Don't do that.
Okay, well I wasn't going to, but I'm predicted to lose this game pretty hardcore, so that makes me really upset. But there's nothing I can do at the moment, and Lamar Jackson only gave me 16.98 points.
It's not horrible, but it's not great for a quarterback.
He did do better in my other games, but it's okay. It's okay. My league's doing fine. There's other people who are in the same area as me. Like, they have 2 wins and they're losing this game, so that's okay. I have a 94% chance at a playoff, which is good considering there is a 95%, a 97%, a 90%, a 36%.
At 36%.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not losing. And then I'm in the East, and then in the West, there's a 99%, a 93, 94, an 89, and a 14. So I don't think I'm going to lose this entire league, which is great because that's my one goal. I just joined this year, and I really don't know what I'm doing, so Clint helped me, and I have Kyle, not Kyle, why am I thinking Kyle?
Kyle Pitts.
Greg and Hunter helped me too, because I try not to lose.
I'm in 2 fantasy leagues actually, and I am 2-0 in both leagues. I am currently projected to win both of my next matchups in both leagues.
Subtle brag.
I'm also winning in both matchups in both leagues currently, and projected to win them.
Technically, I'm winning right now in my matchup, but it ain't gonna last.
But
predicted to lose 24% to 76%.
I think I have a pretty good shot of actually winning my entire league in both leagues. I've been saying. One league I was projected to win it all at the beginning, and as of currently I'm in first. And as of right now in my other league, I was not projected to win it all. Actually, I was projected to do the worst out of everybody, and I am currently about to be, as long as everything goes to plan, I will be 3-0, and I will just keep trucking along, and hopefully onto a league W.
That's the power of fantasy football. Anything can happen. Which I'm hoping is I pull through and win this game, but it probably won't.
Is there any NFL teams that you felt have been super underwhelming? Besides the Chiefs.
That's what I was going to say.
The Chiefs have been very underwhelming.
You pick that? The Cowboys.
Okay, that's wrong.
Oh, I think they're stupid.
I know you don't like the Cowboys.
Sorry.
The Chiefs
that was opinionated. Okay. The Broncos. I haven't heard much about them.
The Broncos are actually done amazing.
Wow, why don't I just do any worse on this podcast?
So how about I just talk about this topic now?
Why haven't I heard anything about the Broncos if they're doing that good?
Well, they're 2-0 right now.
That means nothing.
It does. They've actually showed out in both games.
2-0.
They beat 2 good teams.
Just face the rest of the season.
I'm not saying they'll do
It's
good.
okay.
I'm saying
no,
they're...
I support the Broncos, though, because of Drew Lock.
Anyway, I'm going to talk now, since you obviously don't know what you're talking about as you name two overperforming teams. The Chiefs really been struggling their defense. There's something they need to change.
You wouldn't let me talk about them.
I was just...
They
This
do.
is
They're
my
out.
podcast. But anyway, the Broncos are 2-0. Teddy Bridgewater's overperforming. They've really just been... Cortland Sutton's been showing why he's a receiver number one, so no, they've not been underwhelming. Cowboys, they're 1-1, I believe. They have also not been underwhelming as they kept up with arguably the best team in the league, the Buccaneers. Their defense looks like the real deal. Dak Prescott looks like the real deal. Zeke does not, but CeeDee Lamb looks like the real deal. So, in my personal opinion, some underwhelming NFL teams.
The Seahawks.
The Seahawks have been very, very, very good.
I'm just so good at doing this, aren't I?
The Seahawks are
Any
consistently good. They're not
I like their team colors.
They're not overperforming, but they're not underperforming. They're right where you expected them to be. I think the Vikings are kind of underperforming. I mean, we knew they wouldn't be a great team, but you didn't expect them to come out how
How are
they
the
are.
Packers doing?
Packers are kind of underwhelming. Well, actually, not really. Their first game, they were underwhelming as they lost, 48 or 45 or something like 48-3 or something like that. It was bad.
We got blown out.
Aaron Rodgers looked horrible. And then in the second game, they come back and Aaron Rodgers looks amazing and they win. So
He's trying to keep people on their toes.
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell what's happening. I think the Steelers, they've been really underwhelming too. Najee Harris, they may have beat the Bills week 1, but I don't know how to feel about that.
You should get Terry to talk about the Steelers.
Good. We're going to go on to Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence trouble. Trevor Lawrence plays for the Jags, worst team in the league.
He's my backup on fantasy football.
Honestly, he's played awful. He's thrown way too many interceptions. He's not making good decisions.
Do you think I can get a trade out of him?
Possibly. But if
For anybody decent?
No, not amazing. Decent maybe, but not amazing. Trevor Lawrence, he's been struggling. He's looking a little bit better this game, but he's still making too many bad decisions. He's just not looking like he's the number 1 pick. Zach Wilson looks absolutely god awful, number 2 pick. And in the last game he played, he threw 4 interceptions. That's impressively bad. It's bad when you throw 1 in a game. Is
he like trying to throw interceptions?
No,
or?
he's not. I mean, he looks horrible. Like, that's bad. I never thought he'd be that good, but I didn't think he'd be 4 interceptions bad, looking like Nathan Peterman.
He was the second pick?
Yes.
Who picked him?
The Jets. The Jets are a horrible team, though, and
Maybe
their
they're rubbing off on him.
in all fairness, their last QB played god-awful for the Jets, and then they traded him to the Panthers, and now he's doing insane for the Panthers. So the Jets
the
Jets
team.
organization is trash.
It's gotta be the team.
We're going to go on to early MVP picks. You already know my pick, Kyler Murray. I think he's going to ball out. Tom Brady's up there, Matthew Stafford's up there, but right now I got Kyler Murray as the end of the season MVP.
You want me to pick one?
Yeah, who do you think?
You know, I would just have to go Tom Brady.
Yeah, that is a good pick this year because he's been balling out. He's got in 2 games he had
Speaking of Tom Brady,
he's been insane.
Do we want to guess when he's going to retire?
I'd give him 2 or 3 more seasons.
He's got to win MVP and do another.
I think he'll retire.
Before he's happy.
I think he'll retire around 50, or not 50. Shoot.
No, he's up there. He's in his 40s, isn't he?
He's 44. Yeah, I think he's going to retire around 50. So I did say 2 to 3 more seasons, but honestly, he wants to play till 50. I don't see why he can't at this rate.
I think he will. I mean, if he's been doing fine, he gets hurt, he goes and takes care of himself, he comes back. I mean, I think he'll be alright.
Yeah, I think he will play till 50.
And
But I still have Kyler Murray.
As much as I don't like him personally, you can't deny what he does on the field, and I think he will be MVP. That's my statement.
He has had an amazing beginning of the season. So going to the Rams side of the thing, one of my MVP top front runners right now, I said, was Matthew Stafford. They traded Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford, and a lot of people thought they gave up a lot more than they needed to get Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford we knew was better, but we didn't think was that much better. But I think so far he's kind of showed that Matthew Stafford was worth what they traded.
What team is this again?
The Rams. They traded.
The Rams.
They traded for the Lions quarterback.
Oh.
And he's been insane for him so far.
I think it was probably worth it. The Rams kind of need the help. They usually need the help, to be honest. I don't think they've ever been really a decent team.
They haven't been in Matthew Stafford's
So they need
arm.
to take whatever they need to do to get what they need to be done. So I think that was good on them.
My next topic is NFL game winner predictions, but we're not going to do those because half of the games have already been going on, and I did them on Tristan Pifford's podcast. You should go check it out. Very good podcast. I was special guest, so with Brady and James, it was a very good podcast. If you want to look at any NFL predictions, we went in depth over there. Moving on to NBA. Who's your front runner before the season even starts to win the NBA title?
Stephen Curry.
That's not which team is going to win.
Can I pick the LA Clippers?
Yeah, they're a good team.
I'm gonna pick the LA Clippers just for you.
I appreciate that. I think the LA Clippers will go far in the playoffs yet again.
But you don't think they'll make it?
But as always, they will disappoint me and lose. Because that is how the LA Clippers work. My NBA front runner for title right now is the Nets. I mean, they have a super team. As long as they stay healthy, I don't see why they're not going to win.
You mean something might happen? This
That's
might
true.
be the Clippers' years.
Our last topic. The Manning channel. In case you do not realize, certain NFL games were put on and commentated over by Peyton and Eli Manning, and they basically just talked about the game the entire time, and I thought it was really entertaining.
No, I think that's cool actually. But I like them and like how they talk, and I think it's funny, and they do well, and they played the game, so they obviously know what's going on. I don't know. I like them. I'm sure it's entertaining. I personally haven't seen it or heard it, but
I agree, it is very entertaining. They do know what they're talking about, and they poke a lot of fun at each other, so it is very entertaining
they are
to watch.
siblings.
Yes, it is very.
That's like me and you doing this podcast right now. It's
very
entertaining, isn't it?
It's very entertaining to watch. They know what they're doing, so I mean, you can't really complain. That's our last topic, actually.
Okay.
Is there any? I mean, we talked about sports. We basically just gave our predictions for everything. I mean, is there any extra thoughts you want to add in about anything?
Basically...
What do you think about Mizzou's football team, since you're going to Mizzou right now?
They're pretty alright.
Pretty alright.
Of course they'll win the easy games, but they have some tough games on their schedule. What is it? Is it Texas A&M?
Texas A&M and Arkansas. Both of them are probably going to lose.
Those are going to be big games.
Yeah,
I don't think they can pull it off either. Well, considering at the SEMO game, there were some times, of course we beat them out, but there was times where I was like, what is going on here? Like, our quarterback, I can't pronounce it.
Connor Bazelak? I'm not sure how to say his name either.
I can't pronounce it. He was like throwing really bad passes and wasn't even to anybody. I don't know what he was doing. And then at the end of the game, SEMO came back. SEMO wasn't even supposed to be anywhere close.
SEMO did come back because we had our third string QB in and our third string everything in.
But still.
If they couldn't come back, that'd be impressively bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It is SEMO.
I did go to see the SEMO game in person. It was a very entertaining game. We did amazing. Then they started scoring against our third stringers, but it doesn't really matter. I would like to announce breaking news. The Chiefs are up 17-14 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I am a little bit behind on the game because I am watching it. I would rewind it. But they are winning currently. Hopefully they keep winning. Hopefully they win this game. You'll probably figure it out whenever you hear this. But yes, they just took the lead.
Well, the Mizzou Tigers didn't they play this weekend? I'm pretty sure they lost by like 1.
Against the Boston College?
Yeah, they lost.
I know that they played Boston College. I knew it was 17-17
really
and a half.
close. They lost.
I knew it was a very close game. Everybody expected Mizzou to win, and Boston College did amazing. They lost 41-34 in overtime.
Wow. Overtime.
Missouri was up 14-7 after one, and then it was 17-17 at half, and then it was 27-17, and then they tied the game up at 34, and then in overtime Boston College scores a touchdown to win it 41-34.
Yeah. So basically, the Tigers, they can do good, they can do bad. Basically, all I gotta say. They're not anything special, but they're not they're not terrible.
They are 2-2, and they have 2 very tough games coming up that they are likely to lose.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you for having me on this podcast. I know I don't know a whole lot about sports, but
You know nothing about sports.
Wish me good luck on my fantasy football team. That's about it.
Good luck on fantasy football. You'll need it.
Thank you.
You will need it.
Thank you.
Knowing Kirsten McCaffrey's hurt.
I appreciate being on this podcast so well.
Yes.